for such an exotic start to today's show.
Today I'm looking for somewhere for an ex-sea captain and his wife to drop anchor. Our properties certainly have the wow factor.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Another wow, I think.
Yeah.
But the mystery house turns out to be the most intriguing of the lot.
I think this has captured your imagination.
Sounds like it. Well, it's certainly different. It's certainly different.
Well, today we're in Cheshire, and I'm on the glorious Tatton Park estate right in the heart of the county. Now, the pineapple house here was built back in 1750, and in those days the fruits were so prized and revered they could change hands for anything up to £5,000 in today's money. Think about that next time you pop into your local supermarket. Now, a little later on, we'll be coming back here to check out the house and gardens in a lot more detail. But first, let's take a closer look at what the rest of this glorious county has to offer. Now, in East Cheshire, your average family home will set you back around about £264,000, £9,000 over the national average. Not so bad, I hear you say, but take a quick look at the map and step inside the so-called golden triangle between Alderley Edge, Wilmslow and Knutsford, and your average family home can skyrocket to a whopping £520,000. That's double the national average. So if, like me, of which there are some fantastic properties on offer.
This Grade 2 listed barn conversion in Watcroft is on the market for £350,000. It has 3 good-sized bedrooms, a feature fireplace in the dual-aspect lounge and a mature garden. Or for a shade under £490,000, you could be living in this beautifully restored Grade 2 listed cottage in the village of Arley. It boasts well-proportioned reception rooms with exposed beams, 2 bedrooms and an attractive landscape garden. This stunning 4-bedroom converted barn in the village of Appleton Thorne could be yours for a bigger budget of £650,000. The original beams have been maintained.
So with properties like that on the market, you can see why many people want to make Cheshire their home, including, of course, today's buyers.
Ex-sea captain Graham is soon to retire from his job as a marine coordinator and spend more time with Diane, his wife of 42 years. Born and bred in the Wirral, they've spent all their lives living on the coast and are now planning to swap the sea breeze for fresh country air.
I've been working abroad since 1964. I was in the Merchant Navy till 1990, and since then I've continued working abroad.
Well, once I move, I'm hoping to get to know Graham a bit better and live with him for a bit more. We haven't been together much in the 40 years we've been married, so it'd be nice, like, starting again, I think, really. Yes. That's a bit of an adventure.
They've lived here at their 5-bedroom house on the Wirral coast for 10 years, and keen gardener Diane will be making sure there's room for her beloved plants and more when she moves.
Basically, I'd like to move to the country. I'd like to move to the country, I'm not sure about you, but I'd like to move for more land, an acre or so of formal gardens, because I seem to have just run out of space here. Oh, and a conservatory. I'd like just one of those lovely conservatories, those wooden conservatories, you know, that type. And you still want a stream, really, don't you?
River in the garden would be very nice, but...
You'd like to tie a little boat up at the bottom, I think.
No, thanks. No, I don't want any more boats, thanks.
With a life on the ocean wave firmly in Graham's past, he's plotting his course for a move to East Cheshire. And despite having spent such a lot of time apart, the couple have the same aspirations when it comes to choosing a new house.
We'd like a detached house with sort of 4 bedrooms, a couple of en-suites, a small office for you, so
yes, it'd be nice to have some office space. I'm not entirely retired just yet, so...
Maybe you can escape from me a little bit, because we're not used to living together, really, so a little escape room for you. A couple of entertaining rooms, a large kitchen that we can eat in, perhaps sit in as well, maybe get a sofa in it. That would be my shopping list.
It's a big list, but luckily there's an equally big budget to spend.
Budget for the next property is around £1 million. There is a little bit of flexibility in that. I think the most important thing is we've got to feel it's been a bargain, if you like. But,
oh, bargain. Oh,
yes, yeah, nice, it's always nice to get a bargain.
We're concentrating our search on the East Cheshire area, which boasts numerous stately homes and historic market towns such as Knutsford, Middlewich and Sandbach. We've got 3 great properties for them to explore, but as usual, before I reveal the price, I'll be asking them to guess how much they're on the market for. And I'm hoping our mystery house could make our ex-mariner and his maiden cast aside any doubts of leaving the water behind.
Well, Graham, Diane, lovely to see you here in Cheshire. I mean, your neck of the woods,
Yes.
very much so. But you're unusual in that most people coming on Escape to the Country want to move to the sea. But you're going the other way.
Yes, we've had enough of it.
10 years of it's been enough.
Now, in terms of what you're after, we've got a fantastic budget. You know, 1.1 million?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Or so?
Also, yes.
Also, good. I mean,
yeah.
the also is interesting because you haven't got to sell to do this, have you?
No.
So if it were a little bit higher and it were the right thing, presumably...
We might be tempted.
A little bit higher, not hugely higher.
Yeah, OK. But we are trying to find you quite a property because, let's be clear, we're not downsizing here, are we?
No.
No,
We've got
no.
another big move in us, I think, before the Twilight Home.
Really? OK, so this is another node on the way.
Yes.
Well, yes, and we've got 3 children that keep coming home as well, so...
And they must be quite excited about the idea of you having somewhere a bit bigger with a bit more land.
I think they think we're a bit crazy, actually. I think they think the retirement home is where we should be, but we're not having that yet.
Well, look, we've got 3, I think, very viable properties
Right,
for you to
that's
have a look
exciting.
at. Let's see what we can offer you.
That sounds
Great.
good.
Follow me.
Thank you.
With a very substantial top-end budget of £1.1 million or so, Graham and Diane are seeking a property with 4 bedrooms, 2 with an ensuite, a garden room or conservatory for Diane's plants, a big kitchen diner for socialising, an office for Graham, and an acre of garden, preferably with a stream. We're beginning our search in the village of Mere, just a few minutes' drive from the pretty market town of Knutsford, which was the blueprint for Elizabeth Gaskell's novel Cranford. Our first property is a detached brick farmhouse, which in parts dates back to the 17th century.
Property number 1.
Right.
Very nice.
Very, very nice indeed. Yeah, Cheshire brick, I think, or similar.
Stream in the front garden.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
how
Little
beautiful.
stream, yeah.
Yeah.
Tip-tappy bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Rhododendron.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Lovely front door.
Yeah. Well, there are numerous doors.
Okay.
We're not going to use that one. We're going to use one on the side
Right.
to get us in, and we'll see what you make of it. Yeah?
Excellent. Okay.
So you can see it sort of goes on a bit.
Wraps around. Oh, big as the
Yes,
first
no, that's
thing.
Swiss
Yeah.
area as well.
Right, well, let's start in here.
Oh, wow.
Very light.
Probably not what you'd expect.
No, from outside, I didn't think it'd be this size.
And then the whole thing has, well, relatively recently been pushed out that way to give you this huge kitchen area here. These are nice, though, I must say.
Lovely units.
I mean,
lovely.
and of course you've
Granite.
got that lovely
Oh, the
range.
range. Wow.
And it's quite light with the skylight there as well, isn't it?
What a nice lived-in feel, homely place.
Yeah.
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 I'm thinking of log burners and things like that.
Oh,
cozy
yes.
Cozy winter,
Yes.
cozy winter nights. I can
Yes.
feel it coming on.
It's great to see that they've both taken to this house so quickly. Let's see if they're as enraptured by the rest of it.
So here we are into the oldest bit of the house, really, I think.
Right,
To your dining room.
right.
Right.
Very nice, lovely.
Old beams.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely.
And can you just make out the carpenter's marks
You can.
on the timber?
Yes.
Again, really kind of giving a sense of its
Yep.
age.
Yes.
Now, through that door over there, we've got your little snug,
Oh, right.
which is quite sweet, with a
Yeah.
multi-fuel burner in it as well. To my left here, an office
Right.
with a nice door out to the garden, and then a separate staircase here,
Oh,
which goes up stairs, obviously,
Right.
and another one there. So we've got 2 staircases,
Right.
one each.
one each,
Yes.
just in case, you know, shipboard life, you know, becomes a bit claustrophobic.
Have been moments.
But in terms of dining area, I mean,
Perfectly big enough. Lovely, cosy, lovely.
Yes.
OK, right then, follow me through here. Let's have a look at another living room for you. There we are.
Oh, cosy, yes. Very nice.
Yeah?
Ah, conservatory.
Yeah, yes, the conservatory, well spotted. We'll go in there in a moment.
Funny.
Right.
Yeah.
But this would be your principal living room, I would
Yep.
suggest. Nice, you know, open fire in there.
Right.
Smaller than we're used to, but that's you know that's not a bad thing. It's
No,
the cosiness.
it's okay. And quite light, Windows both ends.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, given that we've got the other little snug through
Yes.
off the dining room as well, it gives you options, you know, if you want to do your own thing or you've got friends round, and then you keep this as a more of an entertaining space.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, drift through after dinner
Yes.
into
Yes.
here, or
Or through... Come on.
into the conservatory.
Yes, there's no holding Diane back from the conservatory, a room featuring very high on her list of demands.
Lovely. Oh, look at the fireplace.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, it's more than a conservatory.
Quite warm as well, isn't it?
That is an electric fire.
Yes.
It would not be a work of great genius to put a flue in
Quite.
up there and create a wood
Quite
burner,
easy.
I think this is the one we'd be in all the time.
Yes, it's nice, isn't
Love
it?
it. Opened up, I think that would make this room look bigger
Yep.
and more open. Oh, yes, I can see it. Yeah.
The conservatory and its wow factor has really won Diane over, and maybe even Graham too. Upstairs, there's more charming character in the family bathroom. It adjoins the smallest of the 5 bedrooms, which could be used as a dressing room. But we're taking a look at the master bedroom.
Now, this kind of sets the scene, really.
Oh, very grand.
Yeah?
Yes.
Ensuite in there,
Right.
shower room,
Right.
and this is currently the master.
Right.
They're all pretty generous, actually.
Wardrobes, a little, but then they use the other one as a dressing room.
You've got the box room as a bit of a dressing room,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So it's not short of space. That's
It's
that's
not.
the key thing.
No.
Now this one, I think, is a little bit bigger, actually,
Oh,
in a
right.
sense.
Yes.
Through there, we've got you a very nicely appointed Jack and Jill bathroom, which goes on to the final and fourth double,
right.
which is accessed through the other small
The
staircase.
second
Right.
staircase, right.
Yep, over
Right,
towards the
got it.
study.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now then, last bit, the garden.
Oh, good.
Right.
It is
Important
of
bit.
crucial importance, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah,
it
right.
is.
Follow me. Let's see what we've got for you out here.
The grounds are more generous than they asked for, with a stable block and a paddock, but I'm hoping that the lovely expanse of lawns might bring them round.
So out of your, well, possibly new conservatory, done,
Right.
into the garden, or a bit of it. I mean, all in, there's about 3.5 acres or so.
That wasn't quite on the shopping list, Jules.
It's a bit more, isn't it?
A little. But we knew you'd go off piece slightly.
I mean, one of the things with your budget, of course, is that you often get more than you bargain for. And land is one of those things
Yeah.
that does arrive, whether
Yeah.
you like it or not. So, how much do you think it's on the market for?
I would think about 950,000.
950?
I'd say 925.
925? Crikey. A pair of optimists.
Right.
Yes, you are under, I'm afraid.
Right.
This is on the market for 998.
Right.
We're just under the million. So we've sort of given you a taste of
Yes.
What
what the
we're getting
market
for our
has to
money.
offer. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, okay.
Go and
Okay.
explore that paddock area, which is just over there.
Right.
Go and explore that,
Right.
and I'll catch up with you later.
Right.
Off you go.
Okay.
For a shade under £1 million, this property more than meets all the demands of their wish list. It has 5 bedrooms, 2 with an ensuite, a spacious kitchen diner, a huge sunny conservatory for Diane's plants, space for Graham to work from home, and a stream in the grounds, just as he requested.
I thought the front of the house was very nice, very, very attractive. I think the location is perfect. And a decent-sized front garden, which is what we wanted.
I thought the kitchen was lovely, really cosy, lovely and warm. Super conservatory as requested. I think I like the coziness and the homeliness because I'm quite a homely person, really, I suppose.
You know, I am a huge fan of garden art and crazy garden accessories, and this has to be one of the most bizarre. Look at that, a fantastic copper seat. Have you seen this?
That's remarkable.
Isn't it? Can you hear that funny sort of echo it makes?
Yeah.
You could polish that every week, Dan.
You would be polishing it for a week, I should think. It's great, isn't it?
Lovely, yeah.
Who knows, it might even come with the property.
Well,
Yes.
everything's negotiable.
Everything's negotiable.
Earlier in the week, we sent Graham and Diane off to explore East Cheshire, one of Britain's most popular year-round destinations for garden lovers. They stopped off in Nantwich, based upon a much earlier medieval street plan and home to many timber-frame buildings. On its outskirts stands Arley Hall, a Victorian country house built in the Elizabethan style. The present hall stands on the same site as the original house constructed by the Warburton family in 1469. It overlooks the Grade 2 listed gardens, which were created by successive generations of the same family over the past 250 years. They first opened to the public in the 1960s, and head gardener Gordon Bailey was happy to welcome our plant enthusiasts.
What numbers of staff do you have to keep a garden like this?
Well, there's 5 of us full-time permanent staff in the garden, including myself. And then we've got volunteers and trainees who also help us. And they come in and do maybe 2 or 3 hours in the week. Some come in and do a whole day.
Could we join in the volunteers if we live locally?
Yes,
Could
you
we?
certainly could, yes.
We'd love that.
Great.
Oh, yes.
Love to, yes.
There's always room for more volunteers, that's for sure.
Sign us up.
There's always plenty more to be done.
I'd like to spend a bit of time with roses, really, and I'd like us to spend a bit more time learning about roses and pruning and the like, and possibly take an NVQ in horticulture.
And Diane, what about yourself? What do you like the most?
Oh, it would have to be the herbaceous border.
Ah, no, that's something we're very well known for. Would you like to come and have a look at our
I would
border?
very much love to. Very much love to.
The garden's best-known feature is the magnificent double herbaceous border. Made up of 4 flower beds, it was one of the first borders of its kind planted in England. Herbaceous borders first appeared in the Victorian era, and maintaining one is work-intensive as they require year-round attention.
Here we've got a geranium that needs staking up because it's beginning to flop over the edge of the lawn. So if you could grab hold of those canes for me, you could hold on to that string. And if you had one of those canes, what I'm going to do is push them in along the front edge of the plant, just at a slight angle. I don't want them going in vertically because I'm trying to keep this as looking as natural as possible.
See, right.
I don't want it looking like a trussed-up chicken at the end of the process. And we use bigger canes so that they're thicker, and then we cut them down to the size that we want.
Oh.
If you give another one of those, I'm going to pop this one along the front.
No, I'm interested in how you do this bit.
So we'll pop this in along the front and then just lift it up to a height where it's looking quite natural.
That's just kept in place by the stems, is it?
Yes, the weight of the plant pressing against it's holding it in place for the moment. Right, so what I'm going to do is tie off these canes on the end here.
Right. Very nautical knots.
Yes, the ones my granny taught me. And then, like I say, I just cut the cane off at the top there and get rid of that bit.
Very neat indeed.
Give the plant a good fluff up. And there you go.
Lovely.
You'd hardly know it was there.
Fantastic.
Another week or 10 days growth and you won't know it's there at all.
Arley Hall has provided lots of inspiration for Graham and Diane's new gardening adventure. But before that, we're back to our perennial task of finding a dream property for them. We continue our search close to the village of Whitegate, 5 miles southwest of Northwich, the nearest town for shopping and restaurants. Situated in a charming hamlet and surrounded by beautiful open countryside, our second house is a rather unique thatched property.
There it is.
Wow, that's different.
It's very different. I have to say, I have seen an awful lot of thatched buildings in my time, as you might imagine. This has to be the most extraordinary one I've ever seen.
Some parts of it look quite modern, actually, don't they? The windows, for instance.
The whole thing is
Yes,
modern.
yeah.
It's got almost a sort of slightly
Spanish?
Spanishy feeling, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, there's a sense of the Costa about it, if you will, with these arches and these cream-coloured walls.
Yes. We've travelled, so we're used to...
You may have travelled, Diane, but you won't have seen anything quite like this.
Okay.
Come and have a
Oh,
look.
look forward to it.
The outside of this very individual house might want you to believe it's old, but inside it's a very different matter.
Now, this isn't what you'd think a thatched house was going to have as its principal living room.
No, you wouldn't.
A Spanish villa, maybe.
It certainly has that Spanishy feel that we noticed on the outside.
Lovely fireplace, though. Lovely fireplace.
Yeah. This floor is rather lovely. This is actually reclaimed from a church in Liverpool.
Right.
Think about the space. That's the key
Space
thing.
is perfect.
Well, I don't think they were expecting to find a distinctive living room like this under the thatch. So let's see how they react to the kitchen.
Little snug in there, but this... There.
Oh, wow. That is
Yeah?
lovely.
Fantastic.
Lovely. Light.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
And look,
range
A
as
range
well.
cooker. And a fridge to match the range cooker.
Indeed. This is a kind of property where you could just walk into
Oh, love it.
and just get on with it.
The attention to detail is
lovely,
remarkable.
really
Yeah.
lovely kitchen.
It's not the biggest in the world, to be
No,
fair.
but
I mean,
it's-
through there is the dining room, but you've got one of the 2 conservatories that this property has attached to it.
Right.
I think we've topped the budget here.
Yes.
Possibly.
We have to talk about that. It's not the biggest, but it's very well used space.
Yeah.
Very, very well
Yes.
used space. I could be very happy in here.
That's good news. Off the kitchen is another room which should keep Diane happy, a very grand utility room the size of some galley kitchens. That leads to an area of the house they're definitely not expecting to find.
Now, I know that you're retiring, but how about a gym to keep fit in?
Yeah.
While you do it?
Another wow, I think.
Yeah.
How well done is this?
Very well done.
Amazing.
Indeed.
I know it's not something you asked for,
No.
but are you ready for what's
No.
through here?
No, we're not. Definitely not.
Check that out.
Wow.
In you go.
Wow.
After you, Graham.
Good Lord.
We can't afford this. It's
Well,
it's
That's
incredible.
fabulous, isn't it?
Oh, lovely. I think the children will be back in.
It is nice, Paul, that.
And the children will definitely be back when they see the games room upstairs, an immense space for lounging and entertaining that overlooks the swimming pool. On the same level, there's a family bathroom, a box room currently used as a study, and 4 generously sized bedrooms, 2 of which have an ensuite. But how about this one as a master?
now, the current owners use this as a guest room.
Right.
The reason I think it should be the master bedroom is because of what's through that door, Graham.
Right.
Go and open that door. Lead on. After you die, let's see what we can...
Wow. Fantastic. Ensuite, it's lovely, isn't it?
Grief.
Very well done.
God.
The size of the mouth.
Just amazing.
I think we should get you outside.
Right.
Oh, right.
Let's look at what
Okay.
is on offer garden-wise.
Wow.
And then we can start to make sense of this building and how much it's going to cost you.
And that's the question, isn't it?
Hmm.
Flipping heck.
It's the £1 million question, isn't it?
I think it is.
Outside, just under an acre of superbly landscaped gardens surround the property on 3 sides. In addition to a secluded paved patio, there are separate areas of lawn, wooden arbours and flower beds. So will it meet with our garden-loving couple's approval? And will it affect their valuation?
So, madam,
Right.
you're
I'm
going.
going first. aren't I?
You are going first.
I think it's topped our budget and then some.
Yeah.
So I think 1.2
£1.2 million.
pounds. I do.
1.1.
£1.1 million. Well, I'm afraid you're both wrong. £1,150,000 will get you this.
There's a ponderer. There's a big ponderer. If it had been the mystery house, I wouldn't have been at all surprised. I wouldn't have been at all surprised.
Good thought.
You've bowled us a curved one, or whatever the rugby expression.
A curveball. Well, look, go and retrieve it. It's over there in the bushes somewhere.
See you later.
I'll catch you later.
At £1,150,000, this property is over budget, but it isn't really such a curveball as it's got everything they ask for and more. It has a spacious kitchen, 4 bedrooms, a large conservatory for Diane's plants, almost an acre of garden, and an indoor swimming pool.
Where to begin? It's amazing. It's amazing in places and well above what we thought you'd find for us. Magnificent. The price is perhaps a little on the high side, but, you know, maybe with a few tweaks we could perhaps make an offer.
It's a unique house. It's the only modern thatched house I've seen. It's got the right amount of ground for us as well. So I'm pretty impressed with it, to be honest.
Well, that's it. That's the end of an extraordinary house number 2. A house that you thought could have been a mystery house.
I did indeed, which makes tomorrow all the more exciting.
Doesn't it just?
Because who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows?
my
I know,
You know.
but you don't yet. That's the great thing. Come on.
Sleepless nights ahead.
As the sun sets over Cheshire's rolling countryside, the first day of our property hunt comes to a close. Ex-mariner Graham is about to retire and spend more time with his wife Diane. They've spent all their life by the sea and are looking to move to a more rural location. With 2 impressive properties already viewed, it's been plain sailing so far. But coming up, could our mystery house be the one to change Graham's mind about leaving his seafaring past behind?
Right, it's just like being on tankers again.
And I find out how dinner was cooked for the landed gentry in the 19th century.
Let's have a think about the budget that you've got to spend. I mean, it's very, very generous, as we know. But if you set a budget like that, you do often end up with things that you don't need. Like a pool,
Yeah.
or more acres,
Yeah.
and so forth. I mean, if we were starting this process again, would you rethink how much you wanted to spend?
We might slightly
Yes.
bring it down a peg, or well, maybe even alter the area slightly.
How much would you alter the area by?
A county?
Well, I don't think we'll be going quite that far, but I'm pretty confident that our mystery property will really take Graham and Diane's breath away. We're still in Cheshire, and we're heading just 10 miles south of Chester to the small rural hamlet of Coddington. The nearest village for amenities, such as shops and a post office, is Farndon, whose church, St Chad's, is Grade 2 listed and still bears the scars of musket damage from the 17th century Civil War. Our mystery house is also Grade 2 listed and comes in the shape of a converted mill.
Here we are, our mystery house.
Right.
Now, I know water is a thing and you're trying to get away from it, but we couldn't resist this one, Graham.
Yes.
It's an old mill. It was a working mill up until about 1970,
Right.
when it was converted. But now, of course, it's this gorgeous family home.
Right.
The good news is that the mill itself obviously no longer works, you know, but a lot of the workings are still in there, which really kind of relay its heritage.
Sounds very interesting.
Is it what you expected?
Not at all.
Excellent.
And radically
at all.
different from what we've seen so far.
Right.
isn't it?
That's the
Yes,
idea.
Yes.
Good, right, follow me. Now, there are numerous ways into this place, but I thought we'd start here to get in at the bottom.
Yeah, lovely
And it's-
sandstone.
I know, amazing, isn't it, this?
Beautiful.
Here we go. Could this be your new home? I wonder. Let's start down on the ground floor in the kitchen.
Wow. Right.
Yeah?
Looked like a tiny cottage from outside, didn't it?
Wow.
It's quite a big room, isn't it?
Huge.
I mean, you have to appreciate that with most mills, of course, you know, they had to contain quite a lot of machinery. And so this one has actually got...
I've just spotted it.
The machinery's still in it, but of course you've got these great big spaces which allow you to create huge rooms.
Yes.
Wow.
Great big beams supporting everything.
Right.
Right. So much to look at. I'm sorry.
It is, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot to take in.
Very interesting.
Can you see yourselves living in a mill?
Yes.
I can, yes.
I can see us living
Yes.
here more than the other two properties.
Do you know what? I think this has captured your imagination.
It has
Hasn't
actually.
it?
Well, it's certainly different. It's certainly different.
Also on the ground floor, close to the kitchen, there's a laundry room. And off the hall, you'll find a good-sized reception room that's currently being used as a 5th bedroom. But we're heading upstairs to see how the rest of this unique building is laid out.
Now, up on this middle floor is where it all starts to happen in terms of your kind of regular domestic space. So we'll start with the dining room.
Very pretty.
This-
This has got cosy. Yeah.
It certainly does have cosy,
Yeah.
but an interesting mixture of cosy in rooms like this, but open plan
Yes.
in some of the others, like the kitchen, for
Right,
example.
Right.
Um,
Lovely,
and
lovely fireplace.
Yes.
Lovely. Right.
Fascinating.
isn't it?
Yes, I'd like to have a look out of that window, actually.
Well, go ahead, go check it out and go and have a look. Be my guest. Oh, do you get a real sense of how it sort of works?
Yes, that is fascinating.
They seem to be really intrigued by this property, so I'm looking forward to their reaction in the next room.
Now then,
Oh,
this is quite exciting.
open plan. Oh, the milk
right.
comes up. Oh, open plan, right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not the kind of pokey cottage that
We thought from the outside.
good size.
you might have suspected. No, I mean, it's enormous. And this is rather nice. I mean, wood burner here. This is the chimney breast that comes up from below.
Right.
It's not original, but I think fits in, you know,
Beautifully.
quite nicely. But there are all sorts of quirky features. I mean, not least, of course, this. You noticed this earlier, Diane. Again, a bit more engineering
Yes.
rising up from the workings below.
Yes.
Yep. The wheel's gone, so there's no danger of the whole lot coming to life with a bit of rain. No.
Right.
And then the space is great because up here it reveals the galleried landing,
Right.
which takes us up to 4 bedrooms. Let's go and check them out. They're here.
There's also a further small bedroom on the first floor, just off the drawing room, which could be used as a study for Graham to work from home until he retires. Up on the second floor, off the characterful landing area, there are 3 generously sized bedrooms, ideal for when the children come to stay. There's also a family bathroom with stripped wooden floors. But we're heading for the master bedroom.
There's quite a sweet little ensuite there, and then you've got all this.
That's very, very nice, very pretty.
Yes.
Lovely windows low down.
In terms of property, I mean that's essentially what's on offer in terms of the mill building itself. It's a very different thing to what we've shown you
Yes,
before.
yeah.
What are your thoughts now that you've had a chance to get inside it?
I think it's got even more potential than has been realised so far.
Well, look, let's get back outside then.
Right.
Okay.
Have a closer look at the engineering of it and the sluices
Yes.
and how all that
Yes.
works. And we'll talk about a bit of land for you as well.
Right, good.
Outside and looking onto the mill pool is a pool house with a hot tub. And by the ornamental lake with landscape banks, there's a garden room in the style of a Japanese tea house. This is set up as a guest suite with a kitchen area and shower room. There's also a garage block with an office suite on the first floor. This stunning property also includes 2 fields, giving a total of over 8 acres of land.
Come and have a look at this. This is the kind of fun engineering bit, Graham. I know you've been itching to check this out.
Yes.
Try and open one of those. Try that
I'll
one.
do that.
Now, you should be able to hear in a moment.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, and if you look over here, there it is all rushing out. Brilliant. Yeah, better close it up.
Right, it's just like being on tankers again.
You see, we've taken you off your ship, but we've given you the lifestyle to go with it.
But has this remarkable mill made them want to set sail again or set up home here?
So how much is this worth?
I think there is more potential that can be realised in there, which is going to cost a little bit of money.
Yep.
With that in mind, I would guess they're probably asking around the 850 mark.
8995.
8995. I wish it were.
Right.
I wish it were.
Obviously.
Way off, guys.
Right.
Way off. I mean, this is on the market for offers in excess of 1.2 million.
Oh. Wow.
Right.
The reason being, it's got lots of scope to provide the kind of basis for what you want to create
Yes.
for your new
Yes.
home of the future.
New life together, really.
Well,
Absolutely.
together being the operative word.
Yes.
Right, go and have an explore, and I'll catch up with you later.
Right.
Off you go.
Thanks, Jules.
So not the bargain they were searching for, as it's over budget at £1.2 million. But this fascinating property really goes above and beyond their requirements. It has a huge kitchen diner, lots of space for entertaining, 5 bedrooms so there's room for all the children to stay, and finally there is a stream and a lake in 8 acres of grounds.
Oh, when I first came through the gates, I was thrilled. I thought we found the mystery house has turned out to be the one we're looking for. Lovely. We were both elated. Without saying anything, we were both elated.
The house is attractive, on the outside in particular, so I'm fascinated by it, and we really need to think about it.
You know, there is something quite intoxicating about an old mill, and of course the sound of the water that surrounds it. Don't you think?
I think we do. Agreed
Absolutely
entirely.
fascinating.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
Really lovely.
Well, we've given you an awful lot
Yes,
this week. I think
indeed.
we've spoilt you,
Yes.
in some ways. Should we go and have a cup of tea and have a chat?
Best idea, yes.
Right, come on then.
Just outside Knutsford stands Tatton Park, one of the most complete historic estates in Britain. Visited by over 750,000 people every year, its 50 acres of spectacular gardens owe much to the contribution of master landscape designer Humphrey Repton, often referred to as the successor to Capability Brown. Nowadays, a 14-strong team maintains the gardens and is managed by Sam Youd, who has worked here for 30 years. He's giving me a tour of one of their 3 glorious walled kitchen gardens.
These areas here, this was the heart of the estate. You couldn't keep the house staff without feeding them. All of these areas just produced the food for the house.
But in a sense, I suppose, I mean, they're a barometer of the owner's success and prestige, aren't they?
Lots of walled gardens had heated walls. The important thing about those heated walls, they were so expensive to build. So they went to great lengths to keep the frost off the new buds, to ripen the wood off at the end of the season. Amazing.
Now, what happens to all of the produce that you grow here?
Well, we use the produce, obviously, to sell in the shop. And believe it or not, we do leave it so that children can come along and go, wow, there's a sprout. Or when the grandparents say, when I was a girl, I used to pod these peas on a Saturday night for Sunday. and they can get the pea pods and say, try one,
Yeah.
And the kids are amazed because they've only seen these things in supermarkets.
Now I've seen where the produce is grown, it's time to see where it was once cooked for the baronial residents. The Egerton family owned the hall for almost 300 years before it was left to the National Trust in 1958.
Oh, yeah. As kitchens go, and I've seen a few, this is a belter, isn't it?
Absolutely. This was unique in the fact that, the flue went underneath and went out through the ground, under the wall, and then out to a chimney at the back. Amazing.
Of course, there's no flue.
No flue at all, no.
What's going on there with all those pulleys and chains? And
Well, over there we've got the gear for roasting the meat. So, the whole gear turning and the meat turning and dripping into the tray and
It's an early 19th century rotisserie.
Indeed it is.
Providing the meat for the household and set in a sheltered corner of the estate is Home Farm, which dates back to the 18th century. Nowadays it specialises in the conservation of rare breeds, such as Leicestershire long-wool sheep, red poll cattle and saddleback pigs, along with rare breed poultry and goats, including Angoras. Deer roam freely here in the 1,000 acres of parkland, as they have since the deer park was created by Royal Charter in 1290. Operations manager Tim Birtles took us for a closer look.
They are a wonderful sight. I mean, how many have you got here on the park?
We've about 450 breeding head, and through the summer when the youngsters arrive, that jumps up by another couple of hundred. I mean, deer were enclosed ever since the Norman invasion, really, but certainly latterly they were very much seen as a fashion statement. If you had a country estate, you had to have deer on it.
Now, what do you do with them? I mean, we know about the produce. I mean, you put all that in the shop.
we use that, yeah.
What happens to the venison?
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of the venison is sold on the estate. The prime venison is processed for us and is sold through the housekeeper's store. And is very popular now, in actual fact.
So between you, he looks after you with vegetables and he sorts you out with a joint of meat?
Whole meal.
Not much we're short of.
Oh, guys, life on Tatton, it's a different world, isn't it?
Oh, indeed.
And I'm hoping that Graham and Diane might be ready to enter their new world as they reflect on the 3 properties they've seen.
Well, chaps, here we are at the end of, I think, quite a revealing week in terms of what you thought you wanted and what you may think you now want.
Yes, I think we've got a slightly different perspective now than when we started. It's certainly been very informative, though.
Well, that's the idea. Whether or not we've found you your dream home in our selection of 3 remains to be seen. But let's just remind ourselves of where we took you. We started with quite an interesting property.
Nice house, a mixture of old and new, and the new part of it was done very well.
I think you were quite taken
I
with
was
it.
very taken with the kitchen and the garden room.
Yep.
It was lovely. I just thought that the extra acreage was too much.
I mean, our second property was altogether different. A pretty extraordinary thatch.
Yeah.
Within just under an acre.
That was lovely. That was just what we wanted.
It was definitely a property with its own identity,
Yep.
Yes.
Graham.
It was a very large, modern thatch property, so quite unusual in that respect.
In terms of a place to have fun in, I mean, you've got a pool,
Yes.
you've got a games room,
Yes,
a
that's true.
gallery
Yeah.
games room at that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an extraordinary proposition.
They'd spent a lot of money on it, yes, it really was.
Very well done.
Yeah.
Very well done. Lots of wows came out of me on that one.
Well, then we took you to our final property, our mystery house.
Paradise.
It was 10 out of 10 on the outside in particular, absolutely lovely.
But you seem to really engage with the the heritage and the engineering of the building.
Yes, they'd preserved the mill wheel and everything else connected with that very well. So it was a feature inside the house, and I like that as well. All of the houses had something to offer, you know, they were all nice, but and the third one I felt came closest.
Now, I'm going to move this on somewhat in a way that we perhaps don't often do at this point in an escape to the country, because I think that perhaps the area you thought you wanted to live in isn't the place you're going to end up.
I think that's right.
I think that's spot on.
But also, let's talk about the budget, because, you know, we have celebrated, you know, the amount of money that you have got to spend, but as we have discovered, that can bring with it a lot of stuff you don't need.
Yes.
And my sense is that actually, if you go further west, maybe into Shropshire, for example, you will get what you want. I think it'll cost you a lot less money, and I think you'll be a lot more rural and have all that that means going for you.
I think Shropshire has to be looked at as a county that we haven't explored deeply yet, but I think we really need to.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
think we
what
do,
we've
yes.
decided.
So I guess it's see you here same time next week.
Oh, lovely.
In Shropshire. Well, as you probably gathered, this has been a pretty surprising, if not enjoyable, week. But I think there is a lesson to be learned. Buying a house is a bit like buying a new jacket, for example. You think it's going to fit you, but when eventually you try it on, it just doesn't quite have the right feel. And that, of course, is exactly what Diane and Graham have found here in Cheshire. After all, this is a county they know extremely well. They were both born here. But is it going to be the place where they unfold the next chapter of their lives? Well, I suspect it isn't. But the good news is that when they do start their house search again tomorrow morning, they're going to know exactly what they're after and where it's going to be. I'll see you next time.
If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland or England and would like our help, then please apply online at
For such an exotic start to today's show.
Today I'm looking for somewhere for an ex-sea captain and his wife to drop anchor. Our properties certainly have the wow factor.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Another wow, I think.
Yeah.
But the mystery house turns out to be the most intriguing of the lot.
I think this has captured your imagination.
Hasn't it? Well, it's certainly different. It's certainly different.
Well, today we're in Cheshire, and I'm on the glorious Tatton Park estate right in the heart of the county. Now, the pineapple house here was built back in 1750, and in those days the fruits were so prized and revered they could change hands for anything up to £5,000 in today's money. Think about that next time you pop into your local supermarket. Now, a little later on, we'll be coming back here to check out the house and gardens in a lot more detail. But first, let's take a closer look at what the rest of this glorious county has to offer. Now, in East Cheshire, your average family home will set you back around about £264,000, £9,000 over the national average. Not so bad, I hear you say, but take a quick look at the map and step inside the so-called golden triangle between Alderley Edge, Wilmslow and Knutsford, and your average family home can skyrocket to a whopping £520,000. That's double the national average. So if, like me, of which there are some fantastic properties on offer.
This Grade 2 listed barn conversion in Watcroft is on the market for £350,000. It has 3 good-sized bedrooms, a feature fireplace in the dual aspect lounge and a mature garden. Or for a shade under £490,000, you could be living in this beautifully restored Grade 2 listed cottage in the village of Arley. It boasts well-proportioned reception rooms with exposed beams, 2 bedrooms and an attractive landscape garden. This stunning 4-bedroom converted barn in the village of Appleton Thorne could be yours for a bigger budget of £650,000. The original beams have been maintained.
So with properties like that on the market, you can see why many people want to make Cheshire their home, including, of course, today's buyers.
Ex-sea captain Graham is soon to retire from his job as a marine coordinator and spend more time with Diane, his wife of 42 years. Born and bred in the Wirral, they've spent all their lives living on the coast and are now planning to swap the sea breeze for fresh country air.
I've been working abroad since 1964. I was in the Merchant Navy till 1990, and since then I've continued working abroad.
Well, once I move, I'm hoping to get to know Graham a bit better and live with him for a bit more. We haven't been together much in the 40 years we've been married, so it'd be nice, like, starting again, I think, really.
Yes.
That's a bit of an adventure.
They've lived here at their 5-bedroom house on the Wirral coast for 10 years, and keen gardener Diane will be making sure there's room for her beloved plants and more when she moves.
Basically, I'd like to move to the country. I'd like to move, I'm not sure about you, but I'd like to move for more land, an acre or so of formal gardens, because I seem to have just run out of space here. Oh, and a conservatory. I'd like just one of those lovely conservatories,
Oh,
those
right,
wooden
yes, of course.
conservatories, you know, that
Yes.
type. And you still want a stream, really, don't you?
River in the garden would be very nice, but...
You'd like to tie a little boat up at the bottom, I think.
No, thanks. No, I don't want any more boats, thanks.
With a life on the ocean wave firmly in Graham's past, he's plotting his course for a move to East Cheshire. And despite having spent such a lot of time apart, the couple have the same aspirations when it comes to choosing a new house.
We'd like a detached house with sort of 4 bedrooms, a couple of en-suites, a small office for you, so you keep
Yes,
out
it'd
of
be
my
nice to
way.
have some office space. I'm not entirely retired just yet, so...
Maybe you can escape from me a little bit, because we're not used to living together, really, so